Welcome to Master It Monday. I am your host, Maggie Carey. And on today's episode, we have a very special guest. So, just to give you a little heads up about Master It Monday, it's a weekly live. We go multicast on Zoom, on Facebook and on YouTube. And what we do here is we talk about the things that small businesses need to focus on when it comes to social media. And they're all about tips and tricks for you to get the most out of your social for the least amount of time, money, and stress. A lot of what we share are the free components of what your social media has to offer. So today, as I mentioned, I've got a very special guest. Her name is Lisa Ferry. She is a Reiki practitioner and the owner of Bashful Buddha. She has gone through a social media saga like we all have when starting a new business. Lisa Lisa is an advocate of the intuitive and healing arts. It has been her passion for over 20 years and she is truly gifted. And part of what she integrates into her practice are things like stones and crystals, aura colors, essential oils, qigong, oracle card readings, journey work, and intentional practice through spell writing. All of this has empowered Lisa into helping her deep dive into the world of the spiritual and metaphysical. Now, does this have anything to do with social media? Of course it does. She's going to share her knowledge and experience to help others heal and to create a safe space for a conversation of all things intuitive. And she uses social media as a way to help her get the word out about her business. So without further ado, I want to pull Lisa up and introduce her to you all. Hi, Lisa. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Maggie. Hi, everyone.
So if you're joining us live, this is an interactive workshop here. We're talking about I'm going to be asking Lisa some really difficult questions that she's going to have to answer. And, but we also want you to be here to share your stories and as a small business owner. So please, put your comments and questions in the chat and make sure that you introduce yourself so that we can also help you spread the word about your business as well. So Lisa, are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay. So first, before we get too deep into this, I would love you to share a little bit about who you are, up and beyond what we just shared in your intro.
Sure. So let's see. I am, as you said, a Reiki practitioner. I live up in Kent Lakes, New York. I've been married for 26 years to Peter Ferry, happily married. We live up here in the country with our two dogs. And so I do a lot of hiking and some more hiking to keep the dogs occupied.
I love the fact that you always say your husband, Peter Ferry. Like you always include his last name, which I find totally hysterical. We share that in common. I also have a Peter as my husband, but I never introduce him as Peter Carey. I just say my husband, Peter.
Try it, you might like
it. I find it very funny. So one of the things that, I helped you in your journey with social media, but, you had to get started and you started from zero like everybody else. So did you think social media was going to be necessary to grow your business?
I knew that it would be yes, and I knew that I had no idea how to do it. And there were lots of tutorials and things and folks that I spoke with, and I just couldn't figure out how I was going to find the time that I needed to dedicate to social media, because I knew it was an important component, but I was still working on building my business and I couldn't figure out how I was going to fit all that in.
Right. And that's where, it's the time, the money, and the stress, right? Like it's social media is necessary, but you need to educate yourself on it, which our wonderful followers are always asking me great questions about social. But how are you applying it in your business is the tough part, because what you're doing really is, you know, about, and it's not like, for me, social media is where I sit, right? But businesses like yours that are really into, the healing and intuitive arts, and, how are you getting across what you need to people? Because it's really it's really a personal experience, right? It isn't something that can easily be explained. You have to experience it, right?
Right. And also, so part of it is also educating the public, because a lot of these things that we do and that we talk about aren't necessarily things that people have experienced before. So how do you get across to someone that experience that they're going to receive? It's kind of a tough thing. And when you come from this background, you're not necessarily tech savvy either.
Yeah.
So this stuff doesn't really come naturally to me.
Right. And you're not alone. Like, this is, I say to myself, like, I had 35 years experience in IT, right? So social media was still challenging as a new business owner. And I had all this tech experience, right? It's a matter of going out and learning all of this stuff that can be, that can enlighten you on how to best use it. But there's also many different ways people use social media, different, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, it, some people focus on Facebook, for example. Some people use, but Facebook broken up. Is it Facebook groups? Is it Facebook page? Is it your personal, right? Like, so it's not just a simple answer. There's no simple answer for just for every person, right? There's not, oh, everybody has to do it this way and you'll be successful. It's not the way it goes, right? So how, when you first started, we kind of touched in on this, but when you first started using social media for your business, I mean, did you feel like, oh, I've got it, I'm going to get this going, and it's going to be, I'm going to get 100 users right away, or 100 followers right away? Or were you like, no, no?
No, definitely not. And I knew I was wildly inconsistent with my postings, and wasn't even sure what the message I should be getting out there. So it was really tough going, and I would say that it was definitely on the back burner. If there was something else that I could do, instead I did it first. So it was definitely not a priority, even though I knew that it was going to be important for my business.
Right. And here's the other point, right? You knew it was important for your business, but when we don't know things, we tend to defer them, right? We'll just well, I'll get to it eventually. But
Yes.
with social media, it really does help you with getting the word out about your business, and it's a way of promoting yourself. I mean, it really does level the playing field, right? Because you could, you could be, there are, let's take makeup artists and influencers on YouTube, for example, right? There are people, individuals like you and me, who go on YouTube and show people how to use makeup, review makeup. They have more followers than some of the big makeup companies that we know well and know very well, and have billions of dollars in revenue, are competing against this one person who is a social media influencer. So it really does level up the playing field for small businesses to promote themselves.
Right.
Right.
Especially when you inject your personality into it, because not every practitioner, not every, makeup artist is for everyone.
Correct. Right. And different styles, like my daughter does this amazing, like, no, I don't do that. I couldn't do it. I would, yes, it would not end well.
Back in the 80s.
That's true. But she looks fabulous. On the other hand. Anyway, so when you first started, like, what were with your social on for your business? What were some of your main concerns that you had putting your business on social media?
I didn't know the differences between things like personal pages and business pages. I didn't know why you would have both, or if you only needed one. I wasn't comfortable on some of the different platforms, so I was comfortable with Facebook. Not so comfortable with Instagram, didn't really know anything about it. Twitter, forget about it. Couldn't even fathom doing that. So I was sort of overwhelmed by how many platforms there were and didn't know what the right platform for me and my ideal client would be.
And you bring up a good point. One of the things that I suggest businesses do is, focus on one platform, secure your name on all. Just this way, you have the Twitter, you have the Instagram, you ran into a problem with you couldn't get you couldn't get Bashful Buddha
Right.
at Bashful Buddha, right? So your Instagram handle, you had to find one that was close
Right.
to it that people would still be able to find you.
Right.
And that's one of the things, and what kills you is the person who has it isn't using it, which is even worse, right?
Yes.
It's so frustrating. It really is. And you do, we didn't even touch on the website and right? Like all of this stuff to get your online presence solidified can be overwhelming all at once, right?
Yes.
Like to do it all at once. But it really is, so you pretty much focus on Facebook as far as your interaction goes, though, correct?
Yes, for the most part.
Right. And then you use, that you have posts across multiple platforms, and you get interaction on most platforms that you're on, but it's
Right.
always that, the one thing I find businesses don't even realize about is Google My Business, right?
Yeah.
That one, people don't seem to think it's important, or they don't know how to set it up, or they're like, well, I don't have a brick and mortar or a physical location, so I can't set it up, but you should and you can. And we worked on that together to create your Google My Business page, and it does. I'm just going to pull this up for a sec, because it does end up being a way to get more business and interaction with with your business. Now, I'm I'm sure that it does run, it's one of those things like, Maggie, how many things can I do at once, right? It does. It's frustrating, right? So here's, Lisa's Bashful Buddha page here on the right, and you can see it has information about her. It's got reviews that she has, her posts that come in. These are really important factors when you're talking about people getting to know your business, because when they search for you, you want to make sure you have a place where they can see reviews on your business, they can see photos, they can see what you do, and learn a little bit about you, especially think about it when you're researching, whether it's a restaurant or something like that. What somebody could say, oh, you've got to go to Lisa Ferry, Bashful Buddha, she's amazing. Okay. And the first thing they're going to do is they're going to search for you. They're going to Google search you.
Yep.
It's the first thing they're going to do. It's what most people do anyway. I don't know.
Yes, certainly.
The majority. Let's say the majority, not all.
Yes.
But, so I know you had some, we covered some of the concerns. Let's talk about some of the positive experiences that you've had. What have been, using your social media? How long have you been had an online presence?
Oh boy. Well, when I first started, I didn't even have a business page. I was just using my personal Facebook page. So it's been quite a while. So I would say
like
2 years.
And then you've had the Bashful Buddha set up we're going on a year now?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
And so what has it been like, some of the outcomes, the positive outcomes that you've encountered with your social?
It's just been fun. People will comment and say, I didn't know that about Reiki, or that's a fun thing. I didn't know that about you. So people are definitely learning more, both about me and the business. It's wonderful to be able to have a place where people can put reviews, because as you said, someone can say to someone, oh, you've got to try her, she's great. But it's nice to be able to send out a link and say, would you mind putting that down in writing so someone else can see it. And the willingness of people to do it has just been overwhelming. I'm so grateful. It's such a fun thing.
And it really does, and most people are more than happy to leave a review, but you have to make it easier for them, right? So you have
Correct.
a link, that your Google My Business link, that you can send to them, so they can just very easily click on it and write their review right there, which is amazing. So I I have to ask you this though, like, what's your favorite platform? Like, if you were to pick one of them, regardless of how much business it brings you, but what's your favorite one to interact on, or just to use? Forget about your business, but just to use.
Okay, so that's sort of a twofold question.
Okay.
I'm most comfortable. I'm dating myself. I'm most comfortable on Facebook.
Yes.
But I do love to be on Instagram, and I'm happy that I've learned to navigate it a little better, because my goddaughter and her brother and sister are on Instagram. So they're now seeing some of the things that I do, which is kind of exciting. I feel like I'm sort of hiding under, the Facebook bushel. I'm getting more out into the world. And there are even people who I've met who are our age who say, my clients are on Instagram. I don't use Facebook all that much. If you're going to do something, could you let me know on Instagram? That would be great.
Right. Because this is where we run into the whole, you mentioned the age, right? Because Instagram is, skews younger,
Mm-hmm.
Facebook skews slightly older. But regardless, it's still a matter of getting that, connecting with people. I keep saying this over and over again, and I say it almost every video, right? Social media is meant to be social, or don't forget the social and social media, right? Because this is what it's about. It's about,
Right.
it's communication and getting to know people. And now that's again, right, how we talk about, Lisa and I met through an organization called Master Networks, and it's well, it used to be in person, now we're all Zoom, and we meet and get to know each other. Know each other, like each other, trust, right? The evolution of a relationship. And I think that with social media, you're building that no factor. If they obviously and literally like you, if they go and they like your post, or they comment, or they share, right? And then, of course, they're going to trust you if they hire you. They're going to trust you if they're taking your advice. So you offer some amazing advice to people, and give them, various modalities for healing, both, physically and spiritually and mentally, right? All of this all comes into play. And I had a laugh one day, because we had did a post for Mother's Day, right? And what happened?
Well, it's funny that you mentioned it. An existing, a fellow master network of ours, and a friend, and an existing client of mine, who is significantly younger than I am, saw that you had posted for me a Mother's Day gift package, and she saw it on Instagram and purchased the package for her mom as a gift for Mother's Day.
Which was perfect, right?
Yes.
Like, that's what we want. And so it's not always about having 10,000 followers. That's great. That's thrilled. But sometimes it's about just communicating with your current clients, and and letting them know what's going on. So when we post on social media, for you and any of our clients, it's not about the sale. Like, it's not always about the pushing the product. It happened to be like, you want to talk about a stress reliever? You just helped this person find a Mother's Day present. That's unique
Yeah.
and different, right? So that's part of it, but you're also sharing things about the essential oils and what they can do, and you've got a whole DIY thing, and you've got a, different essential oils too. You're teaching about Reiki, you're also giving some inspiration. You're like, so you mix up your social so that it's always providing something of value for the people who are following you, right?
Right.
What would you say, with all of that you're doing on social, what would you say are your main goals or your primary purpose with your social media?
Uh, I guess I guess it to educate, but also to have people get to know me, and to help them find the practice and modalities that are right for them. And I think by being my authentic self, and I think this is true for everybody, I think the more authentic you can be, the more people can get to know you, and that's the best way for them to decide whether or not what you do, whether your service is right for them.
Right. And we talk a lot about how, reflecting personality on your social, because how are you standing out? How are you different from some other person who does Reiki and or that sells essential oils or that does oracle card readings or who writes spells, right? How are you different? How is the right people, and by the right people, I mean the people that you're a good fit for and they're a good fit for you and you're a good fit for them. Because look, even with me, I am not the right fit for every person, every small business. I'm not the right fit. I am a right fit for certain people, and that's where we connect. So when you're being your authentic self on social media, one of these days I'm going to make Lisa have her own YouTube channel, but not yet. Um, because video is a great way, right, to
Yes.
connect with people because they get to know who you are and they get to see you in literal action, right? And it's a real for somebody like me, doing social media on my business and saying this is what I do and this is social media, it's a little bit more, it's easier to understand for the average person because other people are educating them. With Reiki is not the case, right? So
Right.
you have another challenge that some small businesses don't have. Like if you were an auto repair shop, right? Everybody knows what an auto repair shop does. You just have
Right.
to promote, okay, this is that. But you not only have to say, hey, I do Reiki, but this is what Reiki is, and understanding it. Never an easy step. Um, so um, Tell me about where you see the most. We shared your favorites. We've shared where you're on Facebook, Instagram, Google My Business, LinkedIn, and Twitter. But where are you seeing the most engagement? Because sometimes your engagement is different than your, where you're posting the most or you're spending most of your time.
Well, luckily, Master at Media provides analytic reports, which is wonderful. So I actually know that I get the most engagement that I get is on Facebook and Instagram. Those are the two.
The two.
Yeah. But I think even Facebook is even stronger than Instagram at the moment.
Yeah, and it's interesting because you could have more followers on Instagram than you do on Facebook, but Instagram is more active, vice versa. And of course, our analytic reports are amazing. But if you don't have someone like me to help you with your analytics, because we also interpret them, that's the other thing. People look at these analytics and they're on their phone and they're going, "What? I don't know what. What is that?" And the analytics can be even more confusing than the actual the actual platform. But like take Instagram for example. Instagram's analytics that you can access on your phone have a ton of valuable information when you look at your analytics, because you can see because that's what we do for our clients. We do this for Lisa, where we look at your analytics and we say, you know what, your posts on your DIY, do it yourself essential oils do really well. So we make sure that you continue to do that, but you have to mix it up. You don't want to give this, and you don't want to do all of your posts that, right? Because then it loses its zhuzh, it loses its fun. So looking at those numbers are and then you can determine, okay, so if Lisa knew Facebook was where she's comfortable, she's lucky that that's where her people are most active. So now she can be more active, because it isn't just about posting, right, Lisa? I mean, you've got to engage, right, in your own content,
Yes.
and and reply to people on your platforms, which is which can be time consuming, right? It's finding the time. Do you ever take anything that where you would say, you take, block out time in your calendar where you're going to engage in social media? Or is it something you kind of do like a filler thing where, oh, I've got 5 minutes, let me go online?
Um, I try to schedule it, but sometimes that doesn't always work out. So I do, I will look at notifications a couple of times a day just to make sure I haven't missed something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's great. Like, look at your notifications. Don't make it difficult for yourself. The notifications are going to let you know when somebody is engaged, commented, liked. When talking about this, we, as a hint, everybody go to Lisa's social media and like her page because it's amazing. And, but this is how we support each other, because you're going to like Lisa's page and Lisa's going to say, oh, so and so liked my page. Now I'm going to pop over and check out their page, and she may like your page in exchange, right? This is how social media works, right?
Right.
If somebody says hello to you, what do? Do you just walk by them and not say anything? I guess, you say hello back, right? This is very simple. But I just want to pop in. We'll pop one more time. I want to go back into just to show you a little bit about what we're doing here, so that you can see what Lisa has going on here. So she's got her website, right? And you've got to build your website, your social media, and I always say also build your newsletter list, because God forbid social media were to disappear, or somebody stopped. It's just as simple as somebody stopped following you on social. You don't want to lose that contact. So you've got your website, and on the website, you want to have links to your social media. Now, Lisa's got a Facebook page where you can see now, because I help Lisa, and you can see kind of like the manager view of this, but you can see on Lisa's page that she's got her content, as well as she's got her About Us. So you can learn more about her business and what she's doing. I'm just going to switch to me, so hopefully it'll change the view. There you go. This is a view from that you would see as a user. The view we were just looking at was your view from a business owner's perspective, or an administrator of the page. And you can see here she's got information about her business. She's got her website, again, working in conjunction with the website having Facebook and Facebook having the website. We also have her page. We also have her, where you can send her a message and she replies within an hour, which is amazing. And then her email. And then, of course, you have her contacts, and you can see photos, and you can see, events that she might be running and reviews that she may have received. So all of this sits in Facebook. Now, her other platform here is Instagram. And as you can see, as she's building her Instagram account, you can see how a lot of what she has is a mix of her Reiki, of inspiration, of things that are, the essential oils. You can also do video on Instagram, which is great, because when people are scrolling through, they're going to get this kind of interactive um, video, which is always, people love video, and it's becoming, as we were saying, it's becoming a way of standing out, and not just a static image. So that is it. Then she has a business page on LinkedIn. Now, the business page is different than her personal page. So this is her business page, and this is focused on the business. Okay. But if I clicked Lisa Works here, I can also go to her personal page. And this is where it gives you all the information about Lisa. Oh, it's apparently taking very long time to get there. Sorry about that. But you can see she's pulling in a vibrant color that's in her palette of her website, and she's, got her business. If she didn't have a business page, you would see here, this has her logo, you would see something like this, where this looks more professional, and it's also giving her a little bit more experience. Now, of course, here she's got her endorsements that she can put in, and she's still building this. Don't let the fact, like, here's, you know, uh, Twitter. Don't let the fact that you're you're not going to be using the platform all that much prevent you from getting the information on there, because look right here, we're linking in to we're linking in right into her website again, right? This is a placeholder, if nothing else. And of course, we shared the her Bashful Buddha Google My Business page. And in here, when you see photos, you can see different photos by the owner, but she's building it, right? Like, don't let, and of course, she's doing posts, so she's staying active on her site. When you're looking at your social media, don't forget that other people are relying on that social media to learn about you, right? So I'm gonna. I stopped sharing already. So, but that is one last question for Lisa, and then we'll let her go back to her busy day. But Lisa, for people who are watching us here, what advice would you have for people who are starting their business?
I would definitely say check out Maggie's YouTube channel, because she will have tons of information for you. I definitely agree. Get onto the platforms, even if you're not doing all that much with them. Get your presence out there. Don't delay, as I did, and and miss out on my name just because I didn't think I could do it perfectly. Get out there, just post even just some selfies with family and friends, and just get your personality out there. Even if you don't know quite how to perfect it just yet, get out there and definitely talk to Maggie.
Yeah, because, and one of the things that I loved when I'm working with a client like Lisa, she's open to learning, but she was so stressed, right? Like, I'm not a doctor, but if I can help somebody avoid stress, like, I am so happy. But that's a thing that you have to look at in your business. Secure your name on all sites, get, and then sit back and focus on one if that's what you can handle. Um, don't let what you're not doing, and this goes for anything in your business, don't focus on what you're not doing. It'll get there. Just start laying the groundwork, and that's great advice, Lisa. And thank you so much for joining me today and sharing your story and what you've gone through with your business, because we all struggle. We're small business owners in a local area. We're promoting each other, helping each other promote our business by growing, on social media and off of social media, right? Like, you can't be in one place. Like, when somebody says to me, well, I'm only on one platform, and I'm like, okay, that's great. You're working on that one platform, secure it on the other ones, but every once in a while, put a post, but, share something on that platform and see how it does, because we had somebody who was 100% sure that Instagram was going to be their thing. And when they started posting on multiple platforms, they started realizing that Facebook was the thing, wasn't Instagram. And it's shocking, but and they do much more work on Instagram, but Instagram is not where they're getting the engagement. Their engagement is on Facebook. So look at those analytics, as we were talking about with Lisa, and check to see where your platforms, post on multiple platforms and see what works and see and then focus on the one where your people are, and don't forget to promote your socials. Like I shamelessly self promote, follow us on Instagram. And let us know if you have any questions for Lisa. We'll be we'll be checking back on Master Media. It's always here on Mondays at 2:00 Eastern time. We share lots of tips and tricks on how to get the most out of your social media for your small business. So if you have any questions or ideas for an upcoming episode, just pop them on in the chat. If you found this information interesting, please like and share this video. And of course, our final thank you to Lisa Ferry, Bashful Buddha. Make sure you check her out and her website. And if you know somebody who could benefit from Lisa's services, please send them her way. She is amazing. It will also be, if you pop on her Facebook tomorrow at 11, right? 11 Eastern, Lisa?
Yes,
Pop
ma'am.
on Bashful Buddha, the Bashful Buddha on Facebook again. Go to the website and click on her Facebook. You'll get right there. And she's going to be sharing more about what she does in her business to help her clients. So thanks again, Lisa, for joining me today. Our Master It Monday audience appreciates all that you do. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me, Maggie.
All right, everybody, have a fabulous Monday, and we will see you next Monday at 2:00, where Master It Media is here to help you take the commotion out of your promotion.